Hello and welcome to Blinkers Off. Great to be back for its Oaks Day at Eagle Farm, and we return to racing for the first time in 18 months, and I'm joined by Bloodstock agent Grant Morgan, big time footy coach Ben Perkins. Firstly, Grant, return to Eagle Farm. How are you?
Very good, thank you, Jess. Yeah, it's certainly been a long-anticipated return to Eagle Farm, and we can only hope for the sake of the BRC that the day goes well. It's a big test, you know, going back to the track on one of the biggest days of the year. I'm sure they would have liked to have had a 3 to 6 month settling in period before we got back there. So the eyes of the world are going to be on them, and I hope it runs well.
From what you've seen, do you think? How are you anticipating?
I'm a bit cautious. Watched horses gallop on it on Tuesday. They did get into it a bit. They're pulling out clods. I'm hoping it's going to be all right on the night, as they say, but I'm just very cautious. So I'd be saying to punters, be very, very cautious.
Be a little wary?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Ben, welcome.
Hey, Jesse. Well, I've been bushwalking the last 2 days, and both times I saw a sign with skull and crossbones saying, "Do not go this way." And I didn't go that way
What a
both
shame.
times. Well, normally I would go that way every time. I think I might be losing it. And Eagle Farm, there might be a skull and crossbones on the track this week, because if the rain comes, this track's going to be treacherous, and I think $2 punting might be the order of the day.
Well, we're going to crack on and look at the first leg of the quaddie. And Grant, how do you see the race?
Jess, I think the key to Eagle Farm is going to be horses that are fit. I think if this track deteriorates as it's probably expected to, I think you're going to have a fit horse. Where they're going to come from, we're going to have to watch the pattern of the day. So as I say, I'm really cautious about how things are going to play out on the day. So I'm approaching this meeting with not a great deal of confidence.
I think a better word might be terrified.
Yeah, it's probably correct. But look, Serenade's the one I've gone for in the first leg of the quaddie here. I think she was a good effort last start, runner-up in a similar race. She's down on the limit weight. She's fit, hard. She's had a trip to Adelaide, then come to Brisbane from the Moroni camp. I think she's the one to beat. I'm not overly wrapped in the race, but I'm thinking Serenade's the one to beat. Tina Melina comes out of the same race last start, was fourth. It's drawn barrier 1. I'm not sure whether the fence is going to be the place to be. I'm thinking maybe getting out wide could be the place to be, so we've got to watch that space.
And there's a camber.
Yeah, there is. We didn't have one before, so that's a bit of an issue too.
Later on in the show, Dave Wimpy's going to talk about that camber. I caught up with him.
Good, yeah. Sultry Feeling, drawn 2, and Madotti drawn 3, so I've gone the barriers 1, 2, 3 there, so I'm hoping that the fence is going to be okay, but Serenade for me in the first leg.
All right, Ben, just before we crack on in your tips, I've got the bit of highlight here from Sky of Tina Melina and Miss Tenpins and Serenade. We're going to take a look at the footage their last start run.
Marker, Miss Tenpins on the outside in company with Sarah. Sarah led by 2 lengths here from Serenade, and then we've got Palazzo Publico followed by Perignon, and the next one Tina Melina, and Miss Covergirl comes the absolute widest. Miss Tenpins took over, got away seemingly from Sarah. Serenade on the outside, Palazzo Publico coming through. The leader still Miss Tenpins from Serenade. Palazzo Publico like the inside. Palazzo Publico shot through, took the lead, and Palazzo Publico, it's a mouthful, but she won by 3/4 to Serenade, Miss Tenpins.
And a very good run there by Serenade. Tina Melina looks to be one who will be running on in the race. Kind of fancy myself, but Ben, how do you see the race?
Well, I'm just basically betting on James Cummings. I think that he's a sensational young trainer. I think he's going to be a superstar trainer for the next 30 or 40 years. So I'm going for Sultry Feeling, the top weight. I put number 15 here, Golden Mineshaft. I think it's a good roughie, should be at least 25 to 1. And I think Tina Melina will be suited by Eagle Farm. And Miss Tenpins, who was taken on by Sarah last start and cost us probably winning, in my opinion, when Jay Orman went forward on it. So I'm going for Sultry Feeling with my fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed for all. But now we're going to take a look at what's hot and what's not for the boys on Oaks Day.
So our second look today is the 3-piece suit. The perfect look for the marquee or member attendee. We've gone with a grey suit and stepped it up a notch with a contrasting waistcoat, polished it off with a little bit of pink, and of course our pink flower pin, as in keeping with Oaks Day. This occasion we've paired it back with a black hat and black chukka boots from Croft.
Race 6, the second leg of the quaddie. Looks to be a nice horse in here, perfect fit from the New Zealand camp, a Group 1 performed horse. Looks to be a very hard race to break down. How do you see it?
Well, the way I see it is, well, I love to name drop, as you all know, and I was speaking to Guy Mulcaster out here outside, and he introduced me to Tony Pike, and I said, Tony, I think your horse Sacred Star is a really good chance to win this race on Saturday. And he said to me, it won't run if the rain comes. Because I said, I've just taken $19. He said, it won't run if the rain comes, and they'll save it for next week at Eagle Farm. But he did say the horse would go well on a big track. So if the rain does not come, I'm going for Sacred Star. So I have put number 6 in, Kaepernick. Now, Hawks is just winning everything. This horse is pretty smart. It's won on a soft track, so maybe it's the big danger. Number 3, Taget in sight, Joe Pride. Joe Pride often has horses that do run very well in the wet. He's a good wet track trainer, Joe Pride, for whatever reason that is. And number 12, Trubia, who I thought was a little bit disappointing last start, but again, Eagle Farm is going to improve so many horses because we've been waiting at Doomben and going, let's get this horse to Eagle Farm, and this might be a case in point. I think it will run fourth.
Just talking about Joe Pride, we're going to take a look at one of his horses, Taget in sight. We're going to look at his last start run. Quite impressive. He was back in the field and he got home hard against Malaguera, and here we are, Taget in sight.
Artlee's back third last. 2 blue, 400 metres left to go. Led by a neat length here from on the outside, Malaguera. Echo Gal going to third. Fell Swoopers work. Dothraki's coming through, and Japanisma down the outside. 2 blue, Malaguera. Dothraki on the outside. 2 blue, Malaguera, Dothraki. Fell Swoop and Japanisma down the outside. Dothraki's taken the lead narrowly from Malaguera. Japanisma. Malaguera coming back at Dothraki. Dothraki, Malaguera. Malaguera! I think Malaguera kicked back to win from...
Great run by Taget inside there, got back, ran on strongly, only beaten a few lengths by Malaguera. Looks to be a good chance in the Stradbroke Group 1 winner. That form line's going to be strong. Yeah,
it always is strong, those Group 1 races, coming back to a race like this, and he looks suited to coming to Eagle Farm, as will be Kaepernick, who is the run-on horse in the race. Like many, Eagle Farm should suit from the progressive Hawks camp. There's 1-2 from 3 second ups, 1-5 from 13. Drawn 12. And I have niggles with barriers at Doomben, not so Eagle Farm. I'm off my barrier phobia. Barrier 12 might suit him. He's a run-on horse. I've got him marked about $2.80, which is probably a little bit on the short side, but the figures say that if the figures play truly, and that's going to be the big question at Eagle Farm. Taget in sight, I definitely think is the one to beat. Artlee, look, was a little bit disappointing last start.
Raced upside down.
Nearly just about ready for a spell, I would say, but I'm still putting it in there. And Spill the Beans, again, fraction disappointing at Scone, but I'm respecting. But I'm pretty keen on Kaepernick.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't mind Taget in sight. We saw the run there. I sort of stick with that Group 1 form line. I think it's hard to go past.
Will be hard to beat.
All right, it's time for 2020, where I'm down the track with Luke Rolls. Bath or shower?
I shower a lot, but I bath a lot as well.
Favourite drink?
Beer, probably.
The one single food you'd never give up?
Probably fish and chips.
Favourite movie?
Braveheart.
Favourite food?
A roast.
Footy team?
Team the Warriors.
Favourite sport?
Between rugby union and rugby league?
Pen or pencil?
Pen.
Favourite season?
Probably winter.
Favourite day of the week?
Saturday.
Do you like a chocolate or strawberry?
Chocolate.
Do you play a musical instrument?
No.
Favourite song?
Bar Bar Black Sheep.
TV show you secretly enjoy?
Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Date someone older or younger?
Younger.
One place you could travel to right now?
New Zealand.
Movies or TV?
TV.
Blondes or brunettes?
Oh, better be careful where. Blondes.
Luke Rolls, a nice character there, and he's riding well. Now it's the Magic Millions sale during the week, and Gemma Cutting does a quick report on Wednesday's sale, which was big.
Well, today it was the race fillies and mare session at the Magic Millions National Broodmare Sale, kicking off the Broodmare Sale for the rest of the week. And there were plenty of buyers here out in force trying to secure some of these talented race mares and fillies with some great pedigrees behind them as well. Now, 3 lots made the magical 7 figures, and that was led by New Zealand Railway Stakes winner Bounding. Now, she was sold for $1.9 million to John Moynihan from Stone Street. He said she'll likely be retired to stud for this coming season, and wait and see on what stallion they might send her to. Crystal Crystal Flute. Now, she's a full sister to Precious Lorraine and Lucky Racky from that Reduced Choice family. She was popular. She was offered by Tealy Assets, and she was knocked down to the China Horse Club's Michael Wallace for $1.4 million. And the third top lot that made the $1 million figure, well, that was the speedy Turfontaine filly Fontaton. She's a 2-time group winner as a 2-year-old, and Henry Field from Newgate Farm bought her on behalf of SF Bloodstock, and he said she'll go to stud. One of the things he liked about her was not only did he love her as a racehorse, but also the fact that she's an outcross for all those Danehill line stallions in Australia, and he bought her for $1.1 million.
It's that time of the show where it's Oaks 1, Group 1 Oaks. It's the fillies. The girls go around over the 2400. Geez, the track could be cut up, Ben. It could be a bit. How you going? How do you see the race?
Well, if I was as rich as Croesus, I'd be going field in the first 4 and sitting back there with expectations. Now, look, I've gone for number 7, Kebede. It's won on a soft track. It's going to get the run of the race, and it's in form. It's in really good form. The Matthew Dunn stable have proven that they can now win big races. So I've gone at 10-1. He'll do me. Now, Falkenberg is a Snowden horse. This horse has been totally luckless, and Snowden, I haven't backed this horse this time in, but I'm going to have a little saver on it because Snowden's a winner. Number 9, Queen of Wands.
Do you think Snowden struggles?
No.
Over 2,000 metres plus with his horses?
No, I think Snowden's a winner.
I don't know if his record's the great. Has he won many Group 1s over a mile?
He hasn't been training that long in reality himself.
Yeah.
But gee, I wouldn't worry me.
No,
I just find his horses are best performed over 1,400, 12, 14 mile.
I haven't thought about it myself, actually.
I just look at his record. He just has a great record, 12 to a mile, but anything over a mile, I don't know. I just haven't seen. I don't know whether he buys horses with those sort of pedigrees.
I don't know, but he used to train for some pretty impressive people, so I'd like to think he's had some good runners over 2,000 metres plus, but don't know.
Well, we're going to take a look at Kabede in a minute, just for the sake of it. I think the winner could come out of that race. Do you think it will?
I don't know. I'm hoping so because I'm on Kabede.
Do you think it will?
Yeah, I think so. There's plenty of them in the race that ran in it, so the odds are in your favour.
They are.
And I am on Queen of Wands. I took 40-1. I've been saying for a while now, this is an Eagle Farm horse. How it handled, but I'm on at 40-1, so whatever.
Nice odds.
And I should tell you that if the rain does come, look, Dawny Perfect, your money will turn to mush if you back it. It's already been backed on Wednesday from $10 into $8.50. I'm suggesting that money could be looking very sick if the rains open up because it can't swim. And I put number 18, Mount Omei, because it's Chris Waller. Now, Chris Waller, he has plenty of winners over 1,600 metres and above. So, and it's 25-1 Mount Omei.
Mount Omei, there you have it. There you go. We're going to take a look at Kabede winning its last start and a few of the others that are running behind it.
Dana's up to 5th. Queen of Wands takes off as well. Kabede shuffle back on the inside. Then Themis and Look to the Stars and Dolbelin's back last of all. 350 metres left to go. Self-Esteem and also going forward on the outside. Sebring Sally and Imposing Lass. Self-Esteem and Sebring Sally. Down the outside is Kabede. Sebring Sally. Kabede on the outside. Imposing Lass. Self-Esteem still there. Kabede on the outside goes up in company of Sebring Sally. Kabede in front from Sebring Sally and Kabede has won the Roses by a head on the line to Sebring Sally. Photo third, Imposing Lass, Self-Esteem, Look to the Stars.
Good run by Kabede. What do you make of the run?
Yeah, she's hard to beat. I've got a query on a pedigree though. She's a bit speedy on the female side, so whether she runs a strong 2400, particularly if it's wet, worries me. Yeah. Alaskan Rose is my pick, Jess. Covered more ground than the early Explorers last start at Doomben, and still only got beaten 3.4 behind Kabede. I'm expecting the 2400 metres to be right up her alley. A soft track won't worry her. I think the Maronis are really good trainers of stayers. So I think she's going to peak on the day. So it's Alaskan Rose for me.
Remember Brew?
Brew was pretty handy, and it was a wet track too. But
number 17, I think, too.
Was it?
24, wasn't it?
No.
24 in the Melbourne
Cup.
Cup.
Maybe it was drawn 17. There's a 17 there somewhere, I'm sure of it.
Alaskan Rose for me, Jess.
26-1, nice price.
Yep.
I like Tavi Bay from the Henry Dwyer camp. It's one of the few horses I think that's on pedigree is going to run the 2400 by Tavistock, the same sire as Voxstock and Barrel. Yeah, she's going to be hard to beat, and I think at 14-1, Damien Brown, she's worth $1 each way for sure. All right, I did catch up with Dave Wimpy, and we spoke about Eagle Farm and how it's going to be playing. I'm joined by the CEO of the Brisbane Racing Club, Dave Wimpy, and welcome to the show, Dave.
Thank you, Jesse. Glad to be here.
Now, the anticipation of the revamped Eagle Farm surface is nearly approaching. What differentiates the new surface from the old?
Look, that's a good question. I've certainly learned about grass a lot in my first 2 years here at the Brisbane Racing Club. I should say that we've had Eagle Farm for a little over 150 years. 14th of August 1865. It was a couch sitting on a dirt profile. Apart from a small renovation we did in 1972, this has been the most significant upgrade. We now have an Oak Ridge kikuya grass built on a sand profile as put down by Evergreen, the project managers.
There was a bit of chop up from that gallop. What have you done since then?
Well, look, the chop, as we saw on the vision, particularly from about the 600 down the main straight and over the pedestrian tunnel, was certainly a bit of a surprise to us. We did have a lot of rain the night before. Look, that part of the track is still growing. What we've done since then is applied some rigorous principles around sort of verti draining the track. We've got more dynamic lifter on the track. We're cutting a little bit higher to create more shear strength. So look, we've had all experts under the sun, under the guise of Evergreen. And since that, which I think was about 3 weeks ago, we've had significant improvement in the shear strength. And we're confident of opening up, obviously, on Oaks Day for that to be race ready. I'm absolutely confident that this brand will be an economic converter, will be a catalyst for people to come back and punt, as you say, in a fair way, know that we've got a true track. And look, I think the trainers and horses will love it. Not only that, the amount of work we've done on our patron facilities is impressive. So the experience both on track and off track will be first class.
Well, Dave, I'm sure the punters can't wait to get back to Eagle Farm. They're sick of Doomben and they're sick of week in, week out, first four on racing. And thanks for joining us on the show.
Glad to be here anytime. Thank you, Jesse.
All right, the last leg of the quaddie, race 8. Ben, it's going to be tricky going into it.
No, I quite like this race actually because I like number 8 Federal. It's by the wet track sire Medeglio Dora, beaten 2.4 by Clearly Innocent and Music Magnate. I like that form line. I think it'll run very, very well. Now, be what you want to be. Now, this is a 1500 metre specialist, and some of these strange distances are suited to certain horses. This is one of those. Number 11 Feltray. He loves the rain. And look, High World, Freedman, wet tracker, and when Lee Freedman places any horse in Brisbane, I want to have a really good look at it. He's a star trainer, very astute man.
Grant, how do you see the race?
Yeah, Ben's nailed it. Federal has the Music Magnate form, and that's far superior to any of these. I've got him marked at about the 3:30 mark, so I think he's going to be very hard to beat coming to the last. Religify, I think, runs well again.
Hates the wet, it won't run in the wet.
Well, at the moment we haven't got that, so I'm going to go with Religify as a chance. Backman and Be What You Want to Be also chances, but fairly open behind Federal, but I think Federal has the chance to dominate here.
All right, it's that time we're going to catch up with Steve Magic from OLBG. He takes a look at the Epsom Derby.
Hi Jesse, football season's come to an end in Europe now, and we're going to start concentrating on horse racing for the blinkers off viewers for the rest of the series. Now, OLBG.com members know where to look for winners at the horse racing, and the Epsom Derby's not the most difficult place to find them. In fact, all of the last 10 winners were 7-1 or shorter, and from the first 3 in the betting, so we don't really have to look outside of there. At present, we're looking at Wings of Desire, favourite at 5.5, US Army Rangers around about 6.50, and Cloth of Stars and Ulysses are both trading at $8. So that's the 4 we need to look at. The standout statistic is the success of the fancied runners. So even in such an open year as we've got this year, it makes sense to focus on those near the head of the market. Cloth of Stars is the one most readily discounted, as he's run 6 times already and wasn't a Group 1 winner as a juvenile like the more experienced runners here. The fact the US Army Ranger and Wings of Desire were unraced as juvenile tips the balance in favour of the Galileo Colt Ulysses. It's an $8 bet, and that's the tip for the Epsom Derby this week. We'll see you next time.
OLBG, free sports betting tips to help you beat the bookies. Visit olbg.com.
Nice bit of interesting facts there from Steve at olbg.com. See if he's spot on with the Epsom Derby. Now we've got a few friends, the armchair punters, and their selections for the Oaks. We've got Bino on the left there with Imposing Lass, and Porky. He likes Kebede. So they're the two from the workers out there on the roads. They're good lads there, Porky and Bino. All right, it's that time where we've got Controversy Corner, where Belinda Kelly catches up with Grant and talks about issues with Queensland racing.
Hello and welcome to Controversy Corner. I'm Belinda Kelly. I'm joined today by Blinkers Off co-host Grant Morgan to talk about racing in Queensland. So Grant, we're talking about the infrastructure or lack thereof in Queensland. So since 1985 there hasn't been a track built. What are those implications?
Yeah, Corbel Park was built in 1985, so it was a brand new racetrack, and it's a beautiful facility and we're very fortunate to have it. But the reality is we don't have any other tracks of that calibre. States like Victoria and New South Wales have built new tracks. In Victoria we've seen the Pakenham facility sold and Tynong built, and it's a fantastic facility that enables trainers to buy bits of land around the track and train their horses in close proximity to Melbourne, so they're still not far out of Melbourne. I'm suggesting in Queensland, it's all very well to criticise, but we need some suggestions. And my suggestion is, and people in Ipswich and Deagon are probably not going to like this, but I think we should get rid of Ipswich and Deagon. I think we should find a greenfield site in the Ipswich-Logan area, which is a developing area in southeast Queensland, and build a proper racetrack, a big sweeping turns, big roomy track that punters like betting on, jockeys like riding on, and trainers like training on. But most importantly, give the trainers a chance to buy land around the track, because we're seeing stables being swallowed up here at the Gold Coast for development. We've also seen that around the Eagle Farm and Doomben precinct. So we need to think of the future. We need Racing Queensland to have a strategy, not just for the next year, but for the next 10 years, for the next 20 years, for the next 30 years, to think about where trainers are going to train horses from. And I think the answer is buying a greenfield site, getting rid of the tracks that punters don't like, and Ipswich, unfortunately, is one of those tracks. Deagon is also a track that is very non-productive as far as racing goes. So let's bite the bullet now, find a new track, and let's go for it.
Yeah, so I think Racing Queensland aren't really doing much in this space. Goes back to our discussions in the previous weeks about the fact they need to formulate greater plans. Would you agree?
Yeah, they need a strategic plan. And as I said, Belinda, they need to stop thinking so short term. You know, there's other generations that are hopefully going to follow us, and they need to be able to train somewhere, and they need to think long and hard about where that's going to happen, because clearly at places like the Gold Coast and at Doomben Eagle Farm, the availability of land for stables is going to decrease rapidly.
Great. Okay, that's Controversy Corner for this week.
Well, it looks like it'd be a good decision to sell Deagon and Ipswich and find another racing track. Could be the best thing for Queensland racing. Righto, we're going to crack onto it. Best bets, Grant, your best.
Felines just set for the race from the Chris Lee stable, was won 6 from 9 over 1,000 metres, a real specialist over 1,000, so I'm keen on Felines.
Felines, how get the money, Ben? Best bet.
Well, I've got two. One is a good tracker and the other is a heavy tracker. So Perfect Dare only if the track is good, and Morris only if the track is heavy.
And my best for the day is Archives in the first race. Looks to be unbeatable. I think this horse has a lot of potential, has a high action, so if the track is heavy, will be unsuited, but I'm still keen on it, and I like Tavi Bay in the Oaks. Well, that's all we have for the show for the Oaks Day. Thanks, Grant. Been a pleasure.
Thanks, Jess.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
Hope Baby Bo's got plenty in the future.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed for Baby Bo, the son of Brazen Bo. Thanks for joining us. Bye for now.